Rodgers gets the snap. Blitz is on. Rodgers scrambles left, winds up Rainbow.
He's got Cobb at the 10 to the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown and a dagger. Oh my goodness. An NFC North Division Championship dagger.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Packers Talk, the podcast dedicated to everything green and gold. I'm your host, Ethan Peltier, and I'm here today to share with you my Week 4 preview. The New England Patriots will be facing off against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field starting at 4:25 Eastern Time, and what's set to be a matchup that we honestly don't get to see that often. Going back to 2010, the Packers and Patriots have only played 3 times, so this is going to be the 4th matchup in about 12 or 13 years. So it will be interesting to see how these two teams approach this game. Obviously, the Packers are coming off of a big win in Tampa Bay, where their defense played really well. The offense kind of stalled after their first couple of drives, but they did just enough, and the defense held on at the end. For New England, they're coming off of a loss, and it wasn't just a loss. They ended up losing their starting quarterback, Mac Jones, to an injury on the last play of the game, which is just really unfortunate, and you never want to see that. My heart goes out to Mac Jones and his family, but that is football at the end of the day, and the Packers are going to be playing a very beat-up Patriots team, which is something that they can take advantage of. The Packers themselves have obviously been dealing with a couple of injuries this year, namely the most important, or I guess the biggest injury that we've had recently is Jair Alexander went out early against Tampa Bay, so he will most likely be out in this game. I believe he was listed as questionable last time I took a look at the injury report, but personally I do not expect him to play. The good news for the Packers is that Christian Watson will most likely be back in this game, which, if you ask me, I think he is going to be a big part of this offense. Just the way that they utilize him, the way that they move him on sweeps and motions, that can really change the way that a defense approaches attacking you. So I'm hoping they can get him involved on a couple of looks in this game. Additionally, David Bakhtiari did return last week. He was on a bit of a snap count. They had him rotating in and out with Josh Nijman. It will be interesting to see if he gets a little bit more of a snap count this week, or if he's going to play maybe a whole half, and they'll reevaluate from then. We'll see. Definitely something to keep an eye on. I'm just happy to see that he's playing again. Also, this is a little off topic. It is his birthday today, so happy 31st birthday to David Bakhtiari. Just great to see him back on the football field. As I mentioned earlier, for the Patriots, they lost their starting quarterback, Mac Jones, to, I believe, a high ankle sprain on the last play of the game, which means that Brian Hoyer will be starting this week. And personally, I do think that gives our defense a really good opportunity to go after him, maybe get some turnovers, and force New England out of their comfort zone, and force New England to play a game that they don't want to play. But that about wraps up the brief injury report that I wanted to do for y'all. Moving on, I wanted to take a look at my keys to the game. I'm going to have a key for offense and defense. I'm going to start with the offense, and this is it right here. And I believe it starts with protecting Aaron Rodgers. This Patriots front seven is pretty good. Now I feel like that's actually kind of an understatement. Multiple players on their front seven have at least 3 sacks, so you definitely don't want to write this defense off. And they definitely had moments in their game against Baltimore, where they were flashing greatness, so to speak. The Packers did a really good job of protecting Aaron Rodgers last week, not letting the Buccaneers pressure him a lot. They only gave up 1 sack. So hopefully we see more of the same this week. Before I move on to the defense, I do have kind of like a mini key to the game for offense. And if you go back to last week's preview episode, this might sound like I'm repeating the same point, but I just want to see a little bit more consistency. After the first half, the Packers offense didn't really do much. And when you're trying to close out games, it's really difficult when you're not moving the ball, when you're not converting on third downs. So instead of making it a broad, play 4 quarters, I'm going to say specifically, convert on third downs. There was a stretch in the game against Tampa where the offense went, I believe, 0 for 8 or 0 for 9 on third downs. And it was just not okay, that you have to convert in those situations. So I hope that we can do better about that this week. So definitely something to keep an eye on. For the defensive key of the game, I have play your game. The Packers defense has been pretty solid. Minus week 1, they've been pretty good. One of the top, like I said, top 5, maybe even top 3 defensive units in this league. They're going against a beat-up Patriots team. This is a really good opportunity to get after the quarterback and force the Patriots to make mistakes. The defense is definitely going to have to limit the big plays, which something I wanted to briefly touch on is Devontae Parker had his biggest game as a Patriot last week. He had a handful of receptions for like over 150 yards or something like that. So assuming that we can limit those big plays, I do expect the Packers to win this game. As far as predictions go for this game, I'd love to see the Packers continue to lean into Romeo Doubs. He had his breakout performance I don't want to say breakout. He had a good, solid performance last week. He actually was named NFL Rookie of the Week or Offensive Rookie of the Week or something like that. So props to Romeo Doubs. I'd love to see us lean more into him and to see if he can continue producing. For the Patriots, as I mentioned before, Devontae Parker had a really, really good game. It will be interesting to see if he continues to produce for them. And then additionally, their running back Stevenson had, I believe, a rushing average of over 6 yards a carry. So there are playmakers for this New England Patriots team. Do not write them off just because they lost their quarterback, just because they're 1-2. I expect this to be a competitive game for the most part. However, as the game goes on, I expect the Packers to kind of pull away, assuming that their offense doesn't go to sleep for an entire half. But yeah, that about wraps up everything that I had for y'all today. I didn't really have too much. As far as final score predictions go, I have the Packers winning 27-16 at home. I do expect them to take care of business. Real quick before I end the episode, I wanted to just briefly mention that I did start a Twitter account. You can find me at Real Packers Talk. Feel free to just message me or say hi or whatever. I love talking to Packers fans around the world. I think it's really cool that there are so many. It doesn't really matter where you go. You'll find Packers fans everywhere. I find that really, really cool. But other than that, I do want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to make Real Packers Talk a part of your routine. It truly means the world to me. You can find me anywhere on Spotify, Anchor, and YouTube. And with that, I'm going to leave y'all with the Go Pack Go. Peace.